Okay, this is Turbo Tuesday. Third day of getting to hear from those in our family here that specifically ran the whole first semester TU and graduated and had the time and the money to attend graduation. So you guys are getting to hear they're still hot off the press. I'm telling you, it's so cool to hear the stories you guys are sharing. And I do have a few of their photos too. And I will go ahead and share. Hold on one minute. I do want to make sure and share something before I forget this one thing. Because speaking of the TU, if you are in the TU today, yes, there is a class. So make sure and attend that if you can. That's always a plus. So we're going to go boy, girl, boy, if that makes sense. And so, how about you, Brad? Are you willing to share just your unique journey? Actually, you have a unique journey in the TU, the first TU.
Oh, definitely willing to share it. And like I say, it was remarkable. Um, it turned out to be something I never ever expected when I started. Um, I was simply looking for a way to improve my health, to face a left knee replacement on the 27th of August. And I was in terrible shape. And it was getting later, it's getting closer. I'm going, it's the middle of April now, and I'm a mess. And I got to do something, because I wanted surgery to go better and I wanted the recovery to be manageable. And I said, if I'm in this condition, there's no way. So I had recalled years back seeing Dallas and Steve and Arthur Borman on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm going to go look this up. I hadn't thought about it or looked at it since then. I think that might have been 2014. And I said, all right, so I searched on it, found it, and I started looking at it and said, okay, seemed like, it might work. And they have a 7-day free trial. I said, what the heck? I'll go ahead and give a few of these workouts a whirl. And I got in and I saw the vast quantity of material there. I couldn't believe it. All the workouts, all the, starting from the bed and working up to stuff that I'm light years away from doing. And, and I started in the chair on the 14th of April and took to it fairly quickly and started feeling better and
Well,
better.
pause there one minute because you guys know he graduated, right? He said the 14th of April is when you actually started doing your things.
Right. Didn't start till the 1st. Actually, I joined on the 10th, but I didn't do my first workout till the 14th. And so, and I had always been I'd been an athlete my whole life. I was used to training, I was used to doing things, and I was used to doing a lot. And it felt so good right from the first workout. And I said, yeah, I can do two of them a day. It was like, I can do three of them a day. I'm retired. What else do I have to do? So, and I wanted to drop weight. Um, I dropped a lot more weight than I ever thought. As of today, I've dropped 67 pounds since the middle of April.
Wow.
Um, and as I dropped the weight, the knee started feeling better. So I had an appointment for the 20th of May to see my orthopedic doctor because you can't get a cortisone injection within 3 months of a joint replacement.
Yeah.
So I was getting close to that 3 month window. So I said, well, I'm going to go in and get my final cortisone shot and then I'll have the surgery. But even when I went to the doctor's office that day, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I may not need this, especially if I keep feeling better because I was only, 6 weeks into this. And so I was talking to my doctor and I told him, I said, I can't promise you anything, but I might be canceling this. And he goes, hey, more power to you if you can. He said, the best surgery is no surgery. And yeah, and so he saw the weight I lost and how much better I seemed, and he actually asked me what I'd been doing. So I said, well, I'm doing yoga now, and I've known this doctor a while. He's kind of a personal friend,
Yeah.
and he kind of gives me a funny look. And I said, no, no, no. I said, I don't, it's not, I don't sit on the floor and burn incense and chant things. I said, this is like a workout. I said, it's a former professional wrestler, Dallas Page had put this together. And now he's really looking at me and he goes, I've been doing that since 2014. And he saw the show and he saw him on Shark Tank and he got the videos. And he and his wife have been doing them 3, 4 days a week ever since then, around their other workouts. And I was almost kind of like, well, why didn't you tell me this before? So anyhow, I wind up, I canceled the knee surgery. I got back in touch with Steve and with Candy and Nadja, and I was telling them what was going on. And then Steve, they contacted me, said Dallas wanted to put together a little like Zoom call with my doctor if he would consent. So I got in touch with him and he was all for it. He was gung ho. So a few weeks ago, it was like a week maybe before the graduation, we were all on there for
I
about a
think,
half hour.
yeah, it was actually the week of graduation.
Right. It actually was. It was the
Yeah,
week of. It was
because we had a drawing that Dallas and Steve were on and talked to all of us, and we did the drawing spin for the
yes,
5 bucks.
right.
And after we went off camera, they said, "You won't believe what we're doing next." And so they told me about you and your doctor, and I'm like, "Oh, this is the sweetest news." They were so excited for you.
No, and
Yeah,
my doctor, he was always an athlete and he loved it. And he had told them, he says, hey, if you ever need me for anything else, don't hesitate, to call. And so that was kind of cool. Just to find that out that he had been doing it all this time.
exactly.
And so, again, I continued. I just kept making more and more progress. And lo and behold, I was not expecting to graduate in the first semester. Candy had told me, go ahead, sign up. You probably won't graduate till the fall semester. But I said, that's fine. And as it got near the end, I think they saw what I was doing and the work I was putting in, and they saw the pictures and the videos. And they said, go ahead and submit your stuff just in case we add some people. So I said, all right, and submitted everything. I'd been documenting it all along and sent everything in, did my final essay, everything. And then a couple weeks later, they said, all right, you want to come, you're in. So, and I'm so glad I went. I mean, I was tempted at first. Yeah, I almost felt like maybe I don't belong. I've been at this long, and people have been at this for years. And but the people I met, and I spent a lot of time talking with Dennis. I mean, people who I had seen or had interacted with through the Facebook groups. Now you get to see them face to face and sit down and talk with them, and it's just so much more powerful.
I'm gonna share your.
Yeah, there was.
I'm gonna share this. Look at
Yeah,
this.
there's Pat. Pat was a prince. Yeah, Pat was. Actually, it's funny. The Dallas right there was cutting a little video. I asked him. I said, "Would you do a little video for my grandson?" Said he's 6 years old. He comes up to the house. He lives 200 feet away.
Uh-huh.
Comes up to the house. He does the workouts with me sometimes.
Yes.
And I told Dallas, and in fact, I'm going to do a little video for Dallas of him, and he'll stand here, he'll go, all right, where we're going, put them together, push them tight, take it back, diamond cutter and out to a T. He goes, hulk it up. And when he makes the noise, I told Dallas, it's amazing you can't hear him down here in Smyrna because that's how loud he is. And so he was cutting that little video for him to tell him to keep doing his DDP yoga every day. And and then Pat was a gem. We had a good time together, and
Is.
so everybody there was. Like I say, the people that worked there, Steve and Nadja and Candy and Pat and everybody, and then all the people. I told somebody the other day. I said, I've been on teams all my life, different athletic teams, and you'd be on a team. Let's say, football team would be the largest team. You might have 55 guys on your team.
Yeah.
You didn't like all of them. Now you played with them and you did, when we're on the field, I'm going to do whatever I can to make them successful. I thought I tried to be a good teammate, but there were guys I wouldn't go out with. I don't want to hang around with this guy. It just isn't my cup of tea. But every person I met down there, I had no one that I felt that like, oh, this I wouldn't want to hang out with them, or I wouldn't want. It was
Exactly.
totally it was great. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, anybody who gets the chance to go, should go.
Yeah, yeah. I never saw anyone like me in 2022 when I got started. And so I figured that seniors weren't really a part of anything, right? And so, at that time I was what, 67, now I'm 70, but I didn't know that there was a place for us. But I thought, I love these people. I hope they accept me because I sure am excited about being with them. And then 10 months later, I was 80 pounds, 77 inches gone, and I was a champ. And so I'm sitting in the lobby of the PC thinking, okay, is it okay that I'm here? Really? Because I'm like the old lady. And they were, everybody, it was at that moment that I realized our ages don't matter. But I'm
No, not
thrilled
at all.
that Steve and Dallas want to create a momentum within the 55 plus because we need to realize we went in this very short time from zero. And when they asked me, they were going to launch it that day. They said, would you be willing to run it if we launch it? It was 4 hours later, Steve called back, said, we got it ready. I'm like, today? You're launching today? And from that day forward, we've gone up to 3,000 already in our, well, we've now passed that quite a ways actually, but in the chart that Facebook shows on the back wall is just, it's a straight incline. So they knew that there was a place for us, but they really didn't know if we'd show up, right?
All
So
right. And I knew you went past 3,000 because my wife made the trip with me. And when we got back home, she enrolled in the program and she enrolled in TU and she's a member of this group now. So I knew you were over 3,000.
yeah, yeah. And what's really fun though, honestly, Brad, is I believe you bring something that maybe the rest of us don't specifically hear to this TU story, which is you're the one that got started over 4 months into what would have been considered, hey, like right now, people that are not registered yet, because this second semester started July 1st, right?
Right.
And now we're into August, and it's easy to say, well, I missed my opportunity. Well, that could be true, you guys. But look at the story of Brad. Brad got started 4 months in to this thing, and Brad, you just owned it. You went after it, you wrestled it to the ground. And so it doesn't matter when they get started. So I hope people watching this understand, yes, let's get you registered. We're all a turtle in our own race, right? We all go whatever speed we want and whatever goals we have, but it is the right place to be in, wouldn't you say, Brad?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And like I say, no matter when you start, go ahead and do it. Uh, I actually enrolled in the second semester because I kind of felt guilty that I was so short in the first one. I said, I better go through and do this stuff and to kind of justify being here. And then I had the feeling when I kind of I was a day or two away from going down, and I thought, you know what, I actually may not finish this semester. I may just say, hey, I graduated here. I mean, I was going to keep doing everything exactly the way I did it. I just wasn't. I figured, move over and let other people do this. And Dennis, everybody who was there knows the story of Wendy, who got up one night when they
Oh,
were talking, and they were talking to her from New Orleans there, and she wasn't graduating, and she went through all of the things that kind of kept her from doing it, and then she she was going to come, going to do it this time,
mhm.
and I went over to her when she finished, and she was over sitting up against the wall, and I told her, I said, you just changed my mind. I said, I'm actually going to go through this and make sure I document everything, make sure I was going to do everything anyway, but I'm going to make sure I document. I'm going to make sure I do everything so that I can graduate just to be here to see you graduate. I said, that's the only reason I need.
Yeah, I
And
saw a great picture of you two together, by the way. And when
yeah, oh, she had me throw those that it took me about 10 tries to get
I,
those fingers
I
together.
never, and so
Oh,
she was a champ the same year as I was. So all the
yes.
champs actually were invited in to the graduation time period anyway, right?
Right.
So she came in as a champ, but
Right.
yeah, she is. pure gold. She's amazing.
Yes, no, that was
But
so.
yeah,
I told her,
I'm always like, what is this thing with the thumbs? And
yeah, it took us at least 8 takes to get me right.
good.
So, and I couldn't do it again. I'd have to look at the picture to figure out how
Oh,
to do
oh,
it.
I know. And it comes from a wrestling thing too, which I don't know the wrestling world. So everybody's like, oh, it's that. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So
I didn't feel bad after I saw about 7 or 8 people who saw the picture said, "Yeah, she tried to get me to do it. I still can't do it." So I said, "All right, at least it only took me 8 or 9 tries."
yeah, so she's in our 55 plus. She's 55.
Right.
So yeah, she's a character. I just
She was very, very impressive. Her story was very moving.
oh yeah,
So,
she's if you've seen her video, you should make sure to see the video DDPY made of her. She's going
oh,
coming out of a fast food thing with food in her car and telling a lot of F bombs in it, but
I can't.
she talked about I can't believe I bought all this stuff and now I'm going home with this. She's one of a kind. Oh my God.
Yes,
Well, thank you,
yes.
Brad. Let's give you a chance, girlfriend. And Tammy, did you tell me this is your first time on Zoom? So you've learned a new technology today?
Yes, yeah, it's my first time on Zoom.
Good for you. Good for you.
I'm one of these people that like to sit in the background and not like come out forward. I'm trying to change that this semester. That's part of my thing to get out of my comfort zone more.
You say that, but I have to right away after sure you had such social photos. I'm like, gosh, you took pictures with all kinds of people. Let me show her. So you're saying you're coming out of your shell. Well, there were many pictures I saw. You and Dennis were in another picture together, just
I don't
hugging.
think we're on.
It was so cool.
Hey, Mona.
I don't think
Yeah,
mine's live.
yeah. And you and Val.
It's
Yep,
muted.
yep. And
Yep,
so
yep. I met some amazing people. I mean, I consider this a once in a lifetime experience. I hope I get to go again. It was just amazing.
wow. Yeah, but you don't look bashful. Dennis, would
Uh,
you describe her as bashful, Dennis? I don't think so.
No, no, I wouldn't describe her as bashful at all.
yeah, I got you food. I'm usually like the person in the back of the class or the front of the class, and I don't say too much. Yeah, that's usually, hey, Mona.
Hey,
Got photo bombed here.
It's fine. I love Mona.
we had a good time talking.
I did. I did.
Wow. And welcome to the family, by the way. Brad told us you come home, got registered. I see you're in the 55 plus family now. So,
Yeah, yeah, I sure am.
now, Dennis, did she get to meet Liz at all? Did Liz meet her or not?
I don't know. Liz was in and out. I don't know who all she met. She met quite a few.
I
Okay.
got to meet Liz.
Did you get, yeah,
Did,
so
yeah, you did. You met Liz.
I
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Scott and I have been married 50 years in October. And honestly, we're so inseparable that I loved when so many of the spouses came this time. This was the biggest turnout of spouses that came. So to anything that's been at the PC.
Yeah.
And to have spouses leaving there more engaging is such a blessing. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know Young Wah. Her husband was there as well. And
Yeah.
he came home.
Rutledge.
Yeah, he came home and said, we're going to share the app. She goes, no, you'll have an app and I'll have an app. You'll get registered, and I'm like, wise woman. I think they've only been married 5 years. She's already figured it out. So, but Tammy, what's any other takeaways that you thought of?
Well, see, my story getting into yoga was DDPY was a little different. In August of 23, my daughter had her second baby. And I haven't shared this with anybody yet, really. Well, she almost died. So I had to take FMLA from my job to go take care of her and a newborn baby. And up until then, the only exercise I really did was walk around my neighborhood, like maybe it was like 4 to 5 times a week, 3 miles. And I was having a hard time. That baby did not sleep. I was sleeping maybe every 4 to 5 hours a night and plus I was taking care of her, and she was on IV antibiotics. I had to learn how to give IV antibiotics 3 times a day. It was crazy. And David, my husband, called one day. He's like, "How you doing?" I said, "I think I'm losing my mind. Like, I don't think we meant to have babies this late in life. Like, if I can't take care of a 4-month old, how can I take care of an infant like you?" Because he was getting ready to have surgery on February 1st of 24.
Oh,
So I came home after she got better. I came home and he goes, "Baby, I want you to watch these videos." I said, "Okay." So he showed me Arthur's story. Then he's like, "Watch this one." He showed me Jake the Snake story. He goes, "I want you to do it with me because I want to strengthen my good knee so that while I'm recovering with the knee replacement on the other knee, that I can kind of help you a little bit if my good knee's strong." I said, "Okay." So we did that up until it was either January or February. Well, we got the tapes probably in November of 23 and started doing DVDs. And then in January or February, I joined the app. And he had his surgery, and while he was recovering, I kept doing the app. And I just kept doing it. And then when the transformation thing came available, I was like, okay, I'll do it. And before I could even talk myself out of it, because I'm big on talking myself out of stuff, especially if it's out of my comfort zone, I just hit yes. And then once I hit the button, I'm like, okay, I'm submitted. I really got to follow through with this. And it was 2 months. Like, so my first pictures, 6 pictures, I'm like, "Hey, baby, I need you to take these pictures for me." And he does, and he don't say nothing. Then the second month, I'm like, "Hey, baby, I need you to take these pictures." He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "It's for yoga." He goes, "But what do you mean it's for yoga? What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I joined this transformation thing. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it, but I have to document all these pictures. And I got to take videos and stuff." And he's just shaking his head. He goes, "Oh, okay." And I mean, I completed the whole thing. And then when it was time to turn it in, I am computer illiterate. I know nothing of computers. So here I am trying to upload stuff to Google Documents and trying to upload stuff to YouTube. By the way, thank you for your video. I watched it 6 times on how to upload stuff to YouTube so I can finally do it. And so then I submitted this stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, they're not going to pick me to do this. I just put it out my mind." I said, "But even if they don't, I love doing it. I'm going to continue doing it." And then I get a message about a week later from Candy saying, "Hey, I need you to group your stuff in groups. It's not in groups. I need you to date it." And she was so patient with me. And I was kind of intimidated because I watched her story and her story gave me so much inspiration. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh," like I'm talking like I was kind of starstruck. And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do what she says. So I go and I do it. And the backstory to that is I did what she said, and I'm like, "Okay, it's done. I'll wait 2 weeks and see if I'm accepted." And my son graduated with a master's degree in computer science. And I'm stubborn and I would not call him to help me because I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do something. And so with Candy's help, I got it done. And then when I got the thing saying I was accepted, I was just so excited. But all the way to graduation, we in the car and it takes us 2 hours to get there. And I'm doing like this, sitting on my hands. When I get nervous, I move in the car. I'm doing all this stuff. And David looks at me and he goes, "What is the matter with you?" I said, "I'm nervous. I don't know if I want to go." He goes, "We halfway there. We done paid for the hotel. We paid for the tickets. We got to go. We halfway there." And honestly, it was the best experience ever. I think when we first walked up, it was Brad and Mona at a table with Stacy Brum and her husband Kenny, and Paul was there. And we sat at that table and we talked to them for a while. And then when I went back to the car, I met Kimberly, talked to Kimberly. And then from there, it was just like everybody was so welcoming. Everybody was so nice. It was just a wonderful experience. I can't describe it. And then when I met Dallas, I think the first thing I said to him was, "Oh my God, I didn't realize you were that tall." It was just like, it just came out of my mouth. It was like, He was just so tall.
Yeah.
And then, well, it took me 2 days to go up to Candy to tell her thank you.
Oh,
That sharing her story actually really touched my heart. It
oh,
took me 2 days because
what-
it's just, yeah, really, I get very intimidated. It's fine if I know people, I'm really open, but people I don't know, I kind of like sit in the back until I get to know them a little bit.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you're telling your own story. You're making your own story of life, right? And people are going to follow you as well. It'll be the exact same thing, honestly, Tammy. I can promise you that every single one relates to somebody different, and there's a fine thin thread that pulls people in. Your story, even today, honestly, will pull more people to think, well, gosh, maybe I'm a lot like Tammy. I could do this. So
I mean, I would never say not try anything because you just never know what's possible. We had a 24th wedding anniversary trip that we took. We took it early and we went to Greenville, South Carolina. And we sitting like right by the baseball diamond. And this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, do you want to dance with the mascot?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, not me. I dance like Elaine from Seinfeld. You don't want me." And he's like, "Oh, come on." And for 5 minutes, he was trying to talk me into it. And I was just so scared to embarrass myself that I was like, "Oh, no, 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 pick somebody else." So he picks this other guy. And this other guy gets up and he does it. And I'm like, "Well, I could have done what he did." And so when Dallas said embarrassment is the key to entry, I was like,
I love that line.
how much joy did I steal from myself because I didn't get up on that baseball diamond and dance with the mascot?
Wow. Whoa. That's very powerful, Tammy. Very powerful because all of us can relate to the
You
things
know, 'cause
we should have gone forward and we paused instead. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, I'm telling you what, I can't wait for more people to get to know you, even on the 55 family besides the TU and the greater DDPY, because you're pretty stinking special. And I love your transparency, honestly. Amazing. So we'll go to the third one, and it's um uh so Dennis, I can never talk about you without crying first. Um
That's encouraging.
but Dennis, just kind of like what Tammy said, the impact that Candy story made on her. When Dennis and I started working together, the very first video, I said I need a video to see, and the first one he had done, and I saw him trying to do poses and things, and he was bouncing all four directions because he'd come out of having two strokes, and I immediately thought, oh my gosh, he's going to fall and hurt himself because you were everywhere. But I saw the warrior instantly in your eyes. It's like, no, I'm going to keep bouncing. I'm going to find my way. And so I fell in love with your warrior spirit from day one. And my only lecture was to you, first week, Dennis, I don't want to see any more red because I had looked in his virtual office. All of his workouts were red, 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 red. And I said, Dennis, I'd like you to do your workouts. I want to see green. That's the goal. Just do them in green. And from that very first week on, it's like everything I told him, he was like, so, so amazing, Dennis, how hard you fought and continue to fight. But here is what I feel is you're, you're just due. So you said to me early on, gosh, that Arthur, he really made a difference in lives. And I said, you wait, Dennis. Someday you're going to be that one that people say, oh, that Dennis, just like, oh, that Arthur, that Dennis, he's given me hope. And it's come true in a very short period of time. I remember just helping you and Liz get your YouTube channel going. And it was like, I'm like, no, we have to get it going because you need people to see this. And Dennis, now give just a little update of your numbers regarding the following and what's being hit just on your YouTube channel already. Before you share the rest of your story, tell them what has happened there.
Well, Steve had this thing, this kind of like a rolling stroller, only it looks backwards. It looks like a stroller that most people have that have had strokes or whatnot, but it works differently. You
Well,
don't sit in it; you just back up against it. Yeah,
I'll share
right
that.
there.
There it is on the left.
Yeah, and so he said, "I want you to try this." So we were out in the parking lot after everything was over. This was like Friday night or Saturday. No,
Saturday. Yeah,
Saturday afternoon,
yeah.
and there was about 20 people left hanging around the PC. And so I got in that thing, and he said, "Now don't be afraid to fall over. It's built so it won't fall over." So he strapped me into it, and he said, "Just stand up and just walk," which I did, and immediately I felt comfortable. I mean, I felt absolutely comfortable, and so I started running up and down the the driveway. And like I say, there was about 20 people left hanging around there. And pretty soon they were all out there and they were cheering and clapping and going crazy. And I was just having a ball. I was doing flips and turning around and doing all kinds of stuff. And he was videoing the whole thing. And so he said, "Why don't you guys go eat?" And then he said, "When you come back from eating, let's go to Top Golf and let's see if you can golf." So we went and ate and came back, went to the Top Golf, and sure enough, I mean, I could golf, and he was videoing the whole thing, and I hadn't picked up a club in since 2013, and it was phenomenal. I hit 10 balls, and I think I hit good hits on 8 of them, which is no big deal because I'm not a very good golfer anyway. But the fact is that I could swing a golf club, I could stand there in full confidence without falling down, get a full swing, and many people could do this. How many people are sitting in a nursing home right now that were golfers or athletes of some sort and they can't do squat because they're afraid to fall out of their chairs or whatever? This is a game changer.
Mhm.
And just from I don't know where all these videos came from or whatnot, but my YouTube channel when we left to go down to the PC, I think it was at 100,700 views or something like that, and right now it's well over 25,000. So it's gone up. It's gone up over 20. It's gone up over 5,000 views just since this last weekend.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah, people are watching. I don't know where they're coming from. I
yeah,
don't know where they're coming from. That's the amazing thing.
yeah. But Tammy, just as you say, I'm just so and so, I'm just what Dennis thought he was just, just someone out in the middle of country trying to overcome 2 strokes. And Dennis, your YouTube channel is exploding. People are following you, just like with Arthur. You're another story that's out there. And then Steve, you having you demonstrate that thing and creating video of that. You said that guy created it was like 12 years ago, right? That he
Right.
Yeah, because Steve, you had talked to
13.
me about that, yeah, about a month or so ago. And he said, this guy's never even got it off the ground because he doesn't know marketing. He said, we got to help him. And he picked Dennis to be the one that he said, Dennis being the example. Can this now who knows how many lives now, Dennis, if you're going to change even with that, the hope you're going to give people with that man. And Steve's not going to make a penny from that walker kind of thing. He just saw it and knew there was a market to help people, right?
Think there is a definite market for that, and like I say, it the main thing, even now, when I go out walking the dog, the main thing I'm concerned about is falling down. And the dog will see a squirrel or something like that. Well, yesterday he saw our neighbor has a robotic lawnmower, and that just really threw my dog into a tizzy. He was all over the place. He was dragging me up and down the road, and I was hollering at him, trying to get him to stop, and that just made him go worse. But I mean, it's a fear of falling, and with this thing that Steve had me in. I don't even know what to call
Yeah, I can't
it.
remember what he called it either. That's
It's there was no fear, no fear whatsoever. So it's a confidence builder,
yeah.
and it'll be a game changer. It really will.
Actually, Jake Order was with you when you were doing it at the PC and then even later. And he said, I'm telling you,
Right.
The guy is out of control now, Pam. I know. People were sending me videos. I'm like, oh my word, Dennis. Yeah, you were definitely going after it. So, Dennis, what is your perspective too of that? Was your first time as well at the Performance Center, correct?
Yes, it was. Yeah, and I'm like Tammy. When I, uh, Liz. Well, I was going to say my Uber drivers, not my Uber drivers. They're actually my co-grandparents. They're uh, my daughter's in-laws. They took us down. They drove us down, and they dropped me off. Liz and Dave and Kathy dropped me off at the PC, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if I could get Dave. He wanted to do a exercise with Dallas, and I didn't know if I could get him in or not. So I said, "Well, I'll find out." But why don't you guys go do what you want to do? So they just dropped me off. And the first people I saw was Tammy and David and Brad and Mona and Patricia. Recognize, of course, I didn't know those guys, but I recognized Patricia from all the videos. So I went up and started talking to her. And then there's a couple other people there. VA, I think you called him Paul. I think his real name is Paul. But
Yep.
we visited for a while, and like they said, it was just a open. It was like we're friends for forever.
Yeah.
You know, from all different parts of the country and different energy levels and whatnot. But it was like the whole weekend. You just a lot of times I was just sit in a corner and watch people. I would just marvel at what was going on. It just amazing, and to see people like Crystal, who had just lost a leg, and she was there. Everybody was it just brings tears to my eyes to think
Mhm.
about everybody going through their own crap and but overcoming it. Nobody was swimming in it. Everybody was overcoming their junk, and that's the beautiful part of this whole thing. It gives people confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. All ages, all backgrounds, all sizes. It's shocking how much it's like we're all welcome at the table, but technically we're all a bunch of misfits, except for we all share the same heart, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm.
yeah.
I told Candy, I said, 2 years ago I wouldn't have given you the time of day, and there was a lot of other people there too. That I mean,
Oh, oh,
I'm just not a person that gets into tattoos and body and that kind of stuff. So I would have never ever associated with them in the past. I wouldn't have treated them mean or anything. I just wouldn't have been hung around them. But they're we're all human. We all come from different spots, and I mean, you couldn't find a better person than Candy
oh,
McCarthy. She is just a sweetheart.
yeah, yeah. Well, when we went to Dallas's Christmas party, the champs, you get to bring your spouse or a second, whatever, along with you. And so my husband had never been engaged with anybody on, so he didn't know anybody's stories, nobody's backgrounds, their heart or anything. So he did when he first saw Candy and Candy's husband, who is the sweetest man that ever walked this earth, but he has a look of his own too. And Scott says, "Are they in this with you?" I said, "She's a grand champ from a couple of years before." I
Mhm.
said, "Yeah." And I got to, when we went out to dinner, just screwing around, a bunch of us champs, I got to sit by her husband. I got to know he's one of those that blends in with the wallpaper purposely, tries to, right? But because he sat next to me, I'm talking and talking. The more he talked, I'm like, this man is unbelievable. Just equally who Candy is. You have to pull out the words because he wants to disappear if he can. But
Well, Pam, you're not a person conducive to being a wallpaper.
I know I got that disorder. I just like I actually think everybody loves me, and when I figure out they don't, it's like, well,
Mhm.
yeah, but someday they might. I mean, I always have that.
Sure they
Someday
do.
they might like me. So
Everybody has to love you. What's not to love about you?
I know there's plenty, but I always have this thought. They'll love me someday. I think maybe. So yeah, it's a problem, Dennis. Yeah. Yep. I do go up and meet everybody, but I'm telling you what, you guys, your stories are amazing. Brad, do you have anything you want to add before we close out? Each one of you have anything? Brad, we'll start with you. Any other thoughts?
Just what a great time it was, again, meeting people and hearing their stories. And, when you're involved in this, sometimes you can feel, like kind of almost woe is me. And I've had so many bad things and so many things to overcome. And then you go, whoa, wait a minute. Uh-oh. Talk to Crystal, talk to some of these other people that were like, Dennis even. I mean, it was just, and the things they've overcome, it makes you feel like, hey, you can do whatever you want. You're not special because you are overcoming things. So just put your head down and keep going.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we are fortunate too. Right behind you is that woman, Mona. Since you're in the house, I seriously would love to hear you came. You got the app after visiting the event. Is that right?
Right.
Got
She would do it with me a little bit. She was doing some workouts with me, but I think after being there, when we got back, we went ahead and got the app and got her signed up for TU.
and you
So
guys.
Now all he has to do is if the weather is nice, he has to somehow drag me out of the garden to come in and do my yoga. Because I'll be out in the yard.
no, she'll be in there a good 4 or 5 days a week.
Yeah. How many years have you two been married?
We just had it was the Monday after the graduation was our 52nd wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Isn't it
So
weird how it doesn't feel like it's been that many years, does it to you guys?
no, not really. Well, we were like 4 and 5 when we got married, so we're not that old.
I was going to say it's kind of hard to remember when he wasn't in my life.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Yep. And with 50 years, it's like, gosh, it kind of seems like yesterday in some respects, right? Except for when we all think of all the roller coasters of life, right? We always said we never thought of divorce even once. Murder was an option multiple times.
Yeah, I dodged that bullet a few times.
Yeah. So Mona, it's so exciting that you came on board after this and Brad led the way. And because it's the opposite in some of the relationships, it's the woman led the way. And then, so it's pretty cool that you're a part of this now. Welcome to the family.
Thank you. I'm going to try and be worthy.
Oh, hey. You're the turtle in our own race. Everybody goes, whatever you go. Brad's kind of a poster child for speed coming right out of the gate like a whatever.
Oh no. When he starts to do something and he gets focused on it, it's like boom, that's all he sees. It's like, a horse with blinders on.
Yeah.
There
Hey,
he goes.
yeah.
He's going down the track. And I'm kind of like, la di da, So if he can keep me on track, we'll be okay.
No, I told her it's going to be just like high school. It's going to be just like high school. She'll zoom by me eventually.
There you go. There you go. And before I shift over to Tammy, Brad, am I certain that Steve, you told me something about you had a ring?
Oh, yes. I had, actually, it was funny when I went up to get the diploma. And so I'm standing there with Dallas. And when you take that picture where you throw up the diamond cutter, and Dallas had 3 rings on his hand, on his right hand. So I put up my left hand and I had my ring. And he when he saw it, he went, whoa. And so it was an American League Championship ring from when I was a baseball scout.
Oh, wow.
And 2008, I was with the Tampa Bay Rays, and we went to the World Series and we lost to the Philadelphia Phillies, but we did get American League Championship rings. Oh, wait a minute, she went, ran, and got it.
I love you already.
And so let's see if that gets up there.
Whoa. Oh, my word. 2000.
Yeah, it's 2008. It has 30 diamonds. It's 14 karat white gold. Now, a very
and
good
it has its own special box.
little box, but now a very good friend of mine. Actually, he was I call him a boy that I coached years back, although I was only a few years older than him. And he wound up, he was the hitting coach with the Philadelphia Phillies when we played them in the World Series. So we're on opposite sides and we've known each other forever. And I saw him the next spring and he showed me his ring that they got for winning. Ooh, I said, wow. I think it had 103 diamonds on it. One for every game they won that year. And it was just, oh, he was gorgeous. But yeah, that was fun. It was funny. Just Dallas's reaction was funny when he saw it. He goes, "Whoa!" He goes,
Isn't that cool? Yeah. Well, I'm sure you guys all felt the feeling. Dallas and Paige both kind of treat everybody like a treasured, you're my child. I mean, it's a family feeling to them. They fall in love literally equally with each person.
no, he was remarkable. I told him, I mean, there've been two people in my life that I wanted to meet, and one of them turned out to be one of my best friends. And you may have heard of the entertainer Meatloaf.
I have heard that word. I don't know who it is though, but
He was a singer, actor, world famous. I think he still has the third, maybe highest selling album in history.
okay.
And so he was a person I always wanted to meet. And I told Dallas he was the other one, just kind of because of the way they live their lives, the things they've done. And Dallas, being, again, made his name in wrestling, but I think he's going to make a bigger impact for what he's done post wrestling.
Yes. Yep.
So,
Exactly. Yeah. It's powerful. And Tammy, any other thoughts you want to share with our 55 plus family?
Just when you're exercising and you're having them days where you're on the mat and you're hurting really bad, just go soak in some Epsom salt. It'll be okay, and keep doing it because it pays off in the end. And there's just something remarkable about the program where you're at when you're doing it. If you have the discipline to do it, it does something to your mindset automatically. And um it's just keep, don't give up, just keep, even on hard days, just don't give up.
Good for you. Good for you. Ha! Pretty stinking powerful words. And Dennis, my friend, I knew you were a pretty big hit there too, by the way, because everybody was sending me videos and photos of you. Because everybody knows me, knows how much, you know. And well, my husband, thank God, understands my relationship with you because I'm always like, I so love Dennis, dear. And he goes, I know you do. But you were making an impact, and I know you felt that as well, right?
Well, they might have just been checking their cameras out, make sure it worked too.
Nope, nope, nope. What would be your final words to share with the people that are watching this right now?
Well, final word is if you're not enrolled in TU, get enrolled in TU, because there's no experience quite like going to the graduation or being around. It might be a summit. I've never been to a summit. I've never been to any of the other things, but if it compares anything at all to what graduation was, it was, it's just a camaraderie. There was nothing that was really what you would call a crazy hyped up whatever. It was just the camaraderie of everybody there. That was just such a good feeling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nothing fancy. It's all from the heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just for the record, all staff, Steve, you and the staff all have said the impact they felt and what they felt during the graduation was completely higher than what they'd ever experienced with all the summits that they ever did. So that's,
and like Tammy said, Candy helped her a lot. You helped me a lot. Candy helped me a lot. Candy helped Jake Order a lot. So it sounds like we keep Candy working. So and she never complained a lot. She just kept sending
No,
me
she
emails on
doesn't.
how to do stuff. And I would, like I told her, I said I would have quit about the fourth email if you hadn't just kept there. You can do it, Dennis. You can do it. Let's get this done. Let's get this done.
yeah,
And I know we did 6 emails at least back and forth.
yeah, yeah. But that's what everybody needs to know, even in our 55 plus family. There are those of us in there here that just will continue to help you, and those in the TU that will continue to help you. So don't let any one thing hold you back, because somebody's already felt those feelings already and have found a way around them. You know,
Yeah.
they speak to the mountain and it must move. Well, that might mean you're going to go over it, under it, or around it, but you can speak to the mountain and it'll move on this deal. So bless your heart, you guys. Thank you for sharing. It's Turbo Tuesday for sure. And you guys that are watching this, there's still 3 more this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, for more of these wonderful people. But thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Always good to be here.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Mona.